decimal should be bigger than the percent.
No, because what does percent mean? Per 100. So a percentage number I haven't divided by 100 yet. That's the way to think about this. This means this divided by 100, because this is per 100, right? So what happens when I divide by 100? It gets smaller.
That's the percentage. Or that becomes the decimal.
Yes, 0.04% means this number. So it's true that humans made up all shit about numbers, but percentages are especially made up, like an extra level of made up shit. So we went, that's too small, let's make it this so I can get my head around it. So is it easier to think 0.375 or is it easier to think 37.5%? It's easier to think 37.5%. We can kind of get a picture of that, right? If I said 37.5% of the students at Grossmont, I was going to say have coronavirus, but that's not something. Thankfully, it's not true. 37.5% of people at Grossmont have something to say here at the end of this. You know, you can get a picture in your head. You can see it's over, you know, a third of the people. You guess it's not quite a half of the people. You can see that in your head. So that's why we made up percentages. Okay, maybe. I'm not saying they're not useful. They are useful. That's why we made them up. Okay. So that's one thing, is just converting. And what would this be as a fraction? You can either go straight from here. What's this say? 412 per 100. Or what's this? This is 4 and 12 hundredths, which is what that is. That's the mixed number for this. Right? Okay. All right. So here's the most basic kind of word problem with percentages. Let me see. Oh, let's do this. 11 is what percent of 121? So now watch this. Can you guys see that this is an equation that somebody read in English? 11 is, okay, let's make that the mathish. 11 is equals what percent? No. What percent, what goes there? X. Of means, yes. 11 is what percent of 121? Do you guys see that? That kind of statement is one step away from an equation. So I know you guys have other ways to do percentage problems. You got the is over of bullshit and all that kind of stuff. And I'm saying they're bad. That's fine. But this is just superior. It just really is. And it reinforces how to translate stuff, right? So how do I solve that?
X times 121.
Sure. I don't know what that is. So I could rewrite this as this, if that's what you mean, right? And then how do I solve it? Divide by 121, right?
Yes.
Why is the x not by itself? Stupid 121. Get that out of there. So x is, this actually reduces to 1/11th. What is that as a decimal? Nobody has a calculator with them?
9.1.
Is it? No, I thought it was 90909. I could be wrong. 9090999, right? Yes? No, 09. 09. Thank you. Say again? You need a calculator. Yeah.
For the test, we got
You will be able to. It was that first test you couldn't. Now I'm going to make harder problems so you can have calculators. Yay!
Yeah.
As long as I get to use my calculator, I'm good.
Sure about that? Okay, we'll find out. What is that as the percentage?
Over 10,000.
No, not as a fraction. Because for one thing, it never ends. Everybody cool with that bar I put there?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Keep going.
Keeps going 0.90909090909. How do I make it into a percentage? I just move the decimal 2 times
The right.
this way. So it'd be 9.090909099%. Let me ask you this. Do you guys know how to do 10% of something really quick? Do you guys know how to do 10% of something? What does 10% mean? 10 over 100, which reduces to 1/10. So taking 10% of something is dividing it by 10. How do I divide by 10? I move the decimal back once. So taking 10% of 60, that's 6. Move the decimal back once. Do you guys know that? Maybe? So what's 10% of 121?
12.1.
12.1. So does this make sense? A little bit less of 121 would be 11. That makes sense. Do you guys see that? It's a little bit less than 10% because 10% would be 12.1. Maybe. That's a really good thing to know. Any waiters, waitresses out there that have lived with people saying, here's a buck, I don't know about tips. I don't know how to do 15%. Maybe. So watch. Just to try to save my poor waiters and waitresses in the world. And nowadays, there's a freaking tip at the bottom. It's stupid. All right, I got to rant real quick. You get your change back, it comes out automatically. They don't have to count it anymore. That's a loss of math skill practice. That sucks. They don't have to calculate tip anymore, which is good for waiters and waitresses because they can't complain and they can't say, I don't know how to do percentages. Here's like 25% on an $80 meal. Can't do that shit anymore. That's about 10% or something. So if I had an $80 meal and I want to leave 15% tip, what's 10% of 80? Is everybody cool with that? It's 8. So what's 5% then? If 10% is 8, 5% is 4, half of it, right? So then what's 15%? 12, right? Do you see how you can build shit too, right? Do you guys see that? Not enough people show you that, and you got to realize you can do that. Is this going to immediately help you out with any specific problem? No, but the more you understand percentages and how they work, the easier any percentage problem will be. Here's a good one. All right, so we got that if you want it. Here's one that drives me a little bit crazy. Anybody in here still on the Facebooks? Giving Zuckerberg all your data? No? Some of you guys got off there? Okay. You never know what he's going to have to go in front of Congress about next. But this stupid thing is driving me insane. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. Have you ever heard of that? 8% of 25 is 25% of 8. Have you ever heard of that? So real quick. There's a more general idea that's easier. Remember earlier I had to do 15 times 12? And you're all like, he's a math geek. He can do all that shit in his head. I don't want to do 15 times 12 in my head. I don't. So I don't. So how did I get the answer?
15 times 10.
No. I like it though.
And then you do that.
Sure, you can do it that way. But here's what I do. Take a factor of 2 away from 12 and put it here. Isn't this 15 times 2 times 6? Right? Isn't that 30 times 6? Isn't that easy? 3 times 6 is 18, put a 0 on it. Do you guys see that? That is what this is all about. Because what is this? 0.08 times 25, right? Which is 8 times 0.01 times 25, which is 8 times 0.25, which is this. It's a really generally useful thing to be able to do when you're multiplying. You can borrow factors. You can take this from one and put it on the other guy. It's really kind of cool. Might be just me. Okay, all right. I'll stop ranting.
So that second row was the equation for the top one?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 25% of 8, right? 25% of 8. Yep, right.
What's that middle one? 8 times.
That was me working there. So this is 8% of 25. Is that cool?
Yes.
This is me borrowing a 0.01 to put over here. So I did make this become this by scooching that 0.01 over. The same way I did with the 2 here.
Oh, so the middle one is just like,
That is just the work to get from here to there.
okay.
Yeah. So that's what I hate about that is they give you some idea, but if they just showed me that middle step, that's more generally useful. Okay,
Where did you borrow the 0.1? Or
Secret.
0.01?
right there.
Where did you borrow it from?
0.08 is 8 times 0.01. Is that true?
Yes.
And then I could put 0.01 times 25 is 0.25.
So is that really borrowing? Because it sounds like it should
Not,
be
that's why I
borrowing.
try to use a different word. I'm not really borrowing. I'm actually just taking it. Right?
Okay.
I'm not going to give it back to them. But it's like they all live in this one little place. So what the hell? Like he could use it and he could use it. Doesn't matter.
Just want to make it. Okay.
Yes. All right. I want to get to a point where I can finally shut up for today. I think I can do it. Yeah, why not? Let's try this out. I want you guys to work on this. You can work with other people if you want. If you don't trust those other people, don't work with them.
Yeah. Reviews, table stuff. If you use the tables, it's helpful if you know what you want. I use them on like the price per contract stuff. I use it on that to help.